We're going to blast through some of the wild card stuff because the weekend is set at this point. We've got the 5-seed Cleveland at the 4-seed Texans, and Joe Flacco will be back on the field. So, man, this is just a tough matchup. C.J. Stroud's going to be taking on a great defense.
Yeah, I think it's house money for Houston. They go and they lose, whatever. The future's so bright for them that it's not crushing. I think a lot of pressure's on the Browns in this game just because it's the Browns. They've experienced a lot of success, and they really do feel like this could be a Super Bowl team. For them to just go one and done, losing to the Houston Texans would be a pretty crushing blow, honestly, at the end of a really good season for the Browns.
I love the fact that Tyreek Hill, remember, Tyreek sat there and said, the most accurate quarterback I've ever played with is Tua. Like, he threw some shade at Patty Mahomes. Miami will go to Kansas City in January, which is always a bit of a variable, and the Dolphins will have to do the unthinkable and beat a good football team, although I'm not sure that the Chiefs are actually a good football team. So I don't even know what to make of this.
Yeah, I think it's our coworker Nick Brownberg that tipped me off to this, that the extended forecast for Kansas City is pretty cold. I don't see this Miami team as being one that's going to go in and win in 10-degree weather. It just seems like the Dolphins, who are beat up, if they don't get some of these guys back, if Waddle can't play, if Mostert can't play, even with the Chiefs' issues, still have a good defense. I couldn't pick against Mahomes and Arrowhead.
And then you've got number 7 seeded Pittsburgh going to the 2nd seeded Buffalo Bills. I'm not going to trust Mason Rudolph to go into Buffalo and win a playoff game.
I can't see the Steelers winning either because of TJ Watt. Knee injury. If he does gut it out and play, and he might, he's not going to be TJ Watt. I can't imagine that. And this team is just different without TJ Watt. We've seen that over and over again. The Bills, it was kind of the daily double of with the AFC East and that home playoff game. And you also get a team that's coming in limping. And if the Bills lose, this is just an absolute disaster for them.
So now you have the Packers taking on their former head coach, Mike McCarthy, but it's in Dallas. I don't believe in Jordan Love. I don't think this is a good matchup for them at all. I think Dallas rolls in this football game.
It'd be just like we talked about with the Bills. If Dallas loses to Green Bay this weekend, it's just a disaster for them. It's their entire season's a disaster at that point.
I think we can clearly say at this point that the Rams-Lions trade involving Stafford and Goff has been transformational and a win for both sides. Everybody has won. That being said, we now get the 6th-seeded Rams taking on the 3rd-seeded Lions. A couple of things. The Laporta injury is huge, but also the fact that Detroit has been susceptible to the passing game. You got a quarterback that can slice and dice you. You got a couple of wide receivers in Puka and Tutu that can absolutely kill you. You've got a workhorse running back in Kyrie Williams that can take the entire load that they need to take. I just feel like the Rams are built the way McVay wants the Rams to be built. It's hard for me to just overlook that.
I agree with you. The Lions are drawing dead or anything. They're a good football team. But yeah, there's a lot of things about this matchup where you just say, this isn't great for the Lions. And especially Laporta doesn't play. He's such a big part of their offense. Amon-Ra's awesome, but you want a counterpunch in the passing game. And I don't know if they really have one without Laporta.
And lastly, on the playoff docket, the game I wish was buried on Peacock behind 87 paywalls. The Eagles go to Tampa Bay to take on the Bucs. Two teams that today they didn't look good enough to be in the playoffs. Either one of them.
I agree.
Man, this matchup just feels like weakness against weakness.
Yeah, I think the Bucs win this game just because there's nothing within the Eagles' last 6 games that leads me to believe they can win a playoff game against anybody. And it's on the road, and their secondary's bad, and Mike Evans is still a great receiver, so is Chris Godwin. Why would I pick the Eagles at this point? I need a reason to pick the Eagles before next week. I'll tell you that.